Hello and welcome into today's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hickson. I'm your lead beat writer for the Arizona State Sun Devils on SI and your host of this daily Sun Devils Insider Podcast. And I'm so grateful to be joining you on this Sunday evening. We are just a few days removed from Arizona State men's basketball having two of the most consequential games of their 2025-2026 season. The Sun Devils take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders on Tuesday night from Desert Financial Arena in Tempe. And obviously, I will be at that game. It will be an electric environment. I think there will be a lot of people that show up despite the game starting at 9 p.m. And it's really Arizona State's week of fighting for survival in a massively challenging Big 12 conference. Um, yeah, so Texas Tech on Tuesday, Baylor on Saturday. Uh, let's get into previewing both of those opponents just off the surface of things. So Texas Tech, Tuesday night battle, like I said, 9 p.m. tip-off. It's going to be a fascinating game. It's the third to last home game of the season for Arizona State at Desert Financial Arena. Texas Tech has one of the most interesting profiles of a team that Arizona State has faced all season. So Texas Tech is typically known for being at least the um, mentality of the program in the past has been one of a team that is very focused on maximizing possessions, controlling the tempo of the game, the flow of the game, not turning the ball over, all that stuff. And they are still very good at most of those departments. The thing that's different about this year's Texas Tech team is that their offense is elite again this year. They average 82 points a game this season. Their defense hasn't taken much of a dip. They do allow about 72 points a game, which is a little bit more than they typically do as a program. But when you look at some of these teams that they played, they've played some really, really, really good basketball teams, and that's not even counting what they've done in Big 12 play. They played Illinois in non-conference play. They played Purdue in non-conference play. They played Arkansas in non-conference play, and they played Duke in non-conference play. Now, they lost three of those four games, but they are the only loss that Duke has uh, taken this year to this point. They are one of two losses that Houston has taken to this point of the season, and they are one of two losses that Arizona has taken to this point of the season when they took down Arizona in Tucson. That is an enormous feat for the Red Raiders. They also have wins over BYU and West Virginia and Wake Forest and LSU. So they have several high major wins outside of those. And just a really, really impressive team. They're still in the hunt for the Big 12 regular season title. Grant McCasland is an absolute dynamic coach. He's done a phenomenal job this season, and I'd be on board with making him Big 12 Coach of the Year if I'm being completely honest. It might end up being um, TJ Osselberger, it might end up being Tommy Lloyd, it might end up being Kelvin Sampson, but Graham McCasland's done a phenomenal job. If it wasn't for tight losses to Houston, they lost to Houston by 4, UCF by 8, and Kansas by 3. There's a good chance that they are the number one team in the country right now. They're a team that nobody wants to play, and they have upcoming games against Kansas State, Cincinnati, TCU, and BYU. There's a real chance that they in conference play with 14 or 15 wins in the league. That's just incredible. The fact that they took down Duke is really, really impressive. And the fact that they've been dominant in so many games in conference play is something that can't be ignored either. I mean, they took down Colorado by 34 points last Wednesday. They eviscerated Oklahoma State in the conference opener. They beat Baylor by 20. They beat BYU by 13 the first time they played. Just a lot to like from the profile of the team. And they are led by Christian Anderson and JT Toppin. Christian Anderson is a sophomore guard that's really, really taken a step forward. He averaged 10 points a game last season as a freshman, and now he's averaging 19 points a game, shooting 43.5% from three-point range. JT Toppin is who Houston head coach Kelvin Sampson described as the best player in the Big 12. He might win Big 12 Player of the Year in a conference that also features Darren Peterson, Koa Pete, AJ DeBansa, uh, Rob Wright, and so many other great, great players. He's just a dominant, dominant player. And there's Texas Tech is more than just a two-player team. The scoring does dip off once you get past their fifth rotation player, but every player that plays regular minutes behind the fifth guy definitely contributes meaningfully. Um, yeah, they aren't the deepest team in the world, but every player that does play contributes. They shoot the three ball extremely, extremely well. They have the versatility to match pretty much any play style of any opponent they are playing against. Uh, just a very, very good team, and I'm looking forward to that game. Now Baylor, Arizona State and Baylor play each other on Saturday in Waco, Texas. I believe it's a 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time tip-off. Um, Baylor's been a little bit of a disappointing team this season so far. They've lost most of their opportunities to pick up big wins. They have some bad losses. They lost to Memphis. They lost to Cincinnati. Uh, those are really only the only two quote unquote bad losses that they've taken this season, but they've had some really rough stretches. They had a three-game losing streak to start out Big 12 play, then a four-game losing streak, and they're on a three-game losing streak currently. Although they almost beat Iowa State, they lost by three. They almost beat BYU, they lost by five, and then they competed with Louisville but lost by 11. So they're heading into the ASU game, possibly riding a four-game losing streak, depending on what they do against Kansas State. And if they beat Kansas State, that might not say a whole lot because Kansas State is probably the weakest team in the Big 12 at this point, if not for Utah. So there is a bunch to like about this Baylor team. Most of all is their guard duo of Cameron Carr and Tunde Yusufu. If you aren't familiar about Tunde Yusufu, he almost committed to Arizona State. They were, I believe, second in the recruiting process for his services. He ended up obviously going to Baylor. Uh, Carr averages 19.2 points per game, and Yusufu averages 18.4. And they also have four high scoring, not high scoring, four guards behind them in Egbeam, Skillings Jr., Williams the fourth, and Rataj that average at least 8 points per game. So they are a high scoring game team. They average 83 points per game. But that's the big issue with this Baylor team. They just don't have many bigs. They are a team that you can absolutely burn on the low block. And Santiago Truitt, Masama Diop, and Alan Mukeba, this is a big week for all three of them. They really can take advantage of Baylor's lack of physicality on the front line. I mean, it's pretty insane when Cameron Carr, a guard, is your leading uh, player in blocks per game. He averages, I believe, 1.4 blocks per game. That's pretty insane when a 6'5" guard lead paces your team in blocks. Uh, like I said, this is a big, big week for Arizona State's front line. And their depth as a whole, their bench really needs to come on strong. Um, with Pig Johnson, Alan Mukeba, and Noah Miehusin really having a lot of onus on them to perform at a high level. And that's really all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider podcast. And I will see you with another episode tomorrow. Thank you so much.